Hello, hello. Stephanie Zima here, My Way of Life Coaching. And today we are going to talk a little bit about your scarcity mindset. If you are new to me, I help online entrepreneurs, especially the 80% of you that are starting out or that are with it, but you don't really have the results. That you don't have the results. Let me see. Oopsie. Hold on. Sorry. That you don't have the results that you're looking for just yet. Those are the people that I want to help because I was you. I was somebody that had no results. I was somebody that was not able to get done what I needed to get done. And that was the reason why I didn't have the results. And for the longest time, I decided, I thought for a second, hang on, let me just, my hair is bothering me today for some reason. Uh, So I was thinking for the longest time that maybe there was something wrong with me. I couldn't really focus on my message. I couldn't really focus on how to do it. And it was because thoughts in my brain were keeping me small. Thoughts and like feelings, subconscious thoughts, not even, and this is the tricky part about this area of mindset work that I'm in. Those thoughts are not always conscious. So you don't, unless you say, I want to work with my shadows, I want to work with figuring out what actually is really keeping me stuck, what is keeping me from showing up the way how I know I should be, because we all know what we're supposed to do. We have mentors in our network marketing company that say, you need to reach out to X, Y, and Z. You need to do these things. But for some reason, you're still not doing it, right? That's when you need to decide, I want to work with my shadows. I want to work with the thoughts, the subconscious, the dark, the the things that we need to work in the dark room. You hear this in motivational speeches all over the place. Certain things need to be worked in the dark by yourself. Well, you need to work on them by yourself. That's great, but how? I mean, have you thought about this part? Like, how? How are you supposed to do this? Well, I have, and I'm here to help you to work with your shadows and how to make that work, right? That is what Walk It Free is all about. It's helping you working with your shadows and turning it into something that you can actually use for your business. And so today we're going to talk about how scarcity mindset that is actually keeping you small, okay? When you have scarcity mindset, you are chasing clients instead of attracting them. You are after them, after them, after them. And in fact, you're not just after them, but you are hounding them like a sleazy salesperson that you don't want to be. Okay. And here's your resistance right away. Here's your resistance. You know you don't want to be like a salesperson. Your gut is telling you this is not the right way to do it. Yet you are doing it that way because you're feeling like if you're not spamming everybody with the scripts that you've been given, then you're not going to have results, right? You're not going to have the results. But that is really not the truth, right? You can get the results if you can build a business, if you can build a brand that aligns with who you are as a person. The problem, though, is that most people don't know who they are as a person. That's why you can't do it. You got to take it down one step back, even, and say, who am I? What are my priorities? What are my values? What is my identity? Who do I want to be? What service am I going to give due to my skill sets? What are my skill sets? So, see, all these questions, for example, I bet you have never asked yourself. I bet you haven't done it, the structured shadow work that brings you and tears down everything to be true about you right now and starts from scratch. It's kind of like baking this cake, right? It's baking the cake. You have all the ingredients. But right now, all the ingredients are just mumbled together, and then somebody tells you put 3 eggs and, a bunch of cocoa in the pot, and nobody tells you about the butter, right? And so out of the sudden, your dough is not coming out the way how you're supposed to be, or how it's supposed to be, or how you see other people do it on social media. But it's because they never knew that they also needed to add the butter, because maybe they already had the butter in there, right? I mean, it's just like that. You have to sometimes tear everything down. It's not about reinventing the wheel. I'm not talking about reinvent the wheel and start something completely new. I'm just saying take all these pieces that you've got going on right now, take them all down and put them all on a piece of paper and rate yourself. In marketing, where am I at? Am I doing good? Am I not doing good? What are my beliefs here? Do I think this is something I can do, or do I need to level up my skill set? Is there something that I need to heal in that area? What about lead generation? What do I believe to be true? Like, I'm staring at a wall full of these empty sticky notes, thinking to myself, like, because I've tried to do this system that other people were suggesting I was doing. And in addition, like I've tried it. I've tried to put it up there, and I thought it's going to motivate me, but it doesn't. It doesn't motivate me. It actually defeats me more. I'm looking at all these sticky notes and I'm thinking to myself, like, I am not recruiting these people. I'm not recruiting these people. Oops, I'm spitting. Right, I'm not recruiting these people. Why not? Some people do not operate well on the systems that your company may be teaching you, or maybe saying that you should be doing. And maybe that is the reason why you are not having the results. What will, however, work is when you start tuning into who you are as a person. What motivates me? Why do I get fired up? How is my system going to work? See, there's so many different ways on how to get to the result that you need to learn how to do your system. And when you become and learn your system, that's when you start getting magnetic, because you are now becoming confident. And now you are going to be able to know what you're talking about, you know what you're doing. And out of the sudden, people are going to be like, wait, what? What is going on with her? Something's different. Something is different. And that's when they become curious. And that is the little moment you just need when you're like, no, I have a second of attention. Now they're going to tune in. Can you deliver? Can you deliver? Can you do it? That is attraction. You don't chase people anymore, but now you attract. But you don't attract for long if you don't have skills to back it up. Okay, you may be getting attention, you may be getting eyeballs, but if you can't back it up with skills, you're also not going to make it. Yeah. Okay. Now, scarcity will show up. You have to level up your skill set. Okay. Now, second thing, scarcity will show up when you underprice or you overgive. I've done this for so long because I never thought I could charge. Now I know I can charge a lot more, but I choose to charge you $27 for my mentorship. Why? Why do I choose to charge you $27 for my mentorship? Because I want you to win. Because I have recognized that I will show up for others more so than I show up for me. See, I know I'm worth a lot more than what I charge. That's not the point, right? That's not the point. I'm not worried about the money. The money will come. What I worry about is who am I and how and what makes me tick, right? At that moment, I want you to do the same thing. I have recognized that I show up for the underdog. I have recognized that I show up for those people with passion. I show up for the people that are unjustly treated, because that is who I am at the core. This is how I've been as a child. This is how I've been, growing up. I've always fought for the ones that couldn't fight for themselves. That's what motivates me. That's what fires me up. That is what I have passion for. And I've recognized that I needed to serve the people that maybe can't afford a $5,000 coaching program yet. I wanted to serve the people that may be seeing an opportunity of building something online, but don't have the resources or the finances to do this yet in any other way. Those are the people I want. Those are the people that I want to serve, because it motivates me to show up for you. It fuels me. Okay, if I can fuel you and you fuel me, it's a win-win. That's how we're going to do it. So when you, though, on the other side, underprice yourself or you overgive, you have to see, is it coming from a point and from a place of you getting fired up because that is who you are as a person? Or are you doing that because you're insecure about what you should be charging, who you are, and what value you give? I know my value. I know I over deliver, beyond now. Above and beyond, I over deliver for my clients. And for the amount of $27 a month, weekly coaching, come on. Like, hello? Right? Nobody will do that but me, because that is firing me up. That is where I know that I'm going to do some help in impact. And in order to do that, I needed to get myself going, right? I needed to reach out. I needed to overcome some of that trauma that I had. You do too. You do too. You have trauma. You have thoughts. You have shadows that you need to work through. You can't work through something that you don't know exists, right? You know, sometimes, and this is one of the things that drove me nuts more. Yes, you need to have information, but how are you going to get the information if you A, have no money, B, you are not going to even know to ask the question? How can you ask the question if you don't even know what to ask? How can you ask the question if you don't even know what's missing? Somebody's got to tell you something is missing, right? Somebody's got to tell you, like, hey, ask yourself this question. Ask yourself that question. Okay. Underprice, overgive. Identify. Is it coming from your shadows or is it coming from scarcity? If you fear being visible, if you fear to post, if you fear to go on live video, if you fear to be seen, if you fear to reach out to people because you don't know what they're going to come back with, that is scarcity. What if I'm judged? What if I'm ignored? Okay? You need to turn that into trust, into yourself. See, my voice creates space. My voice is hopefully giving you strength. My energy is going to transmit through the screen into you and say, I can. That is what I want for you. I want you to be transformed today in watching this or whenever you're watching this and say, I can too. If she can, I can too. Okay? Because I'm nowhere special. I'm not special. I'm not special. I'm still trying to figure things out too. We always will. But I've figured out a lot in the last 8 years that I've been in this business. And I know I can help you. And I want you to know that. Okay. Scarcity will say, you make short-term decisions, right? So you focus on quick wins instead of sustainable growth. That is your jump strategies. You panic when results don't show up. Like you throw something, you throw something at the wall and it doesn't happen. You get a script and you are like reaching out to 25 people and nobody responds to you. And now you are out of the sudden feeling like, oh my gosh, see, I'm not cut out for that. That is a cycle over and over and over and over and over again that you do to keep yourself safe, to recognize maybe you are not valuable or you're not enough or you can't do it. And it would be too painful to recognize that you might not have just those skills. So what you do as a pattern is you reach out quickly, make those short, small, little bursts, but you're not building the lasting skills. You're not building the strategy that comes with it. You're not looking at, okay, 2026, I have an entire year's worth of time and I need to do a quarter and a quarter and a quarter and a quarter. Okay. And I need to figure out what exactly am I focused on in the first quarter? What am I focusing on in the second quarter? What am I going to focus on in the third quarter? And what am I going to focus on in the fourth quarter? And you probably don't do it because your habits are not in control. Your first quarter is already being consumed by just trying to catch up from Christmas time. Well, how can you lead other people? Think about it. You want this big millions, you want to make all this money, but how? How are you going to do that if you can't even, I mean, I'm sorry to say that, but if you can't even lead yourself, if you're unorganized, if you're not having daily rituals of some sort. And I'm not talking about, because I know I'm very judgmental, especially when it comes to health and wellness. And that was one of the things that I had to come to terms with myself, right? I looked at myself and I'm like, I should be losing more weight. I should be lifting harder. I should be doing more stuff. Well, sometimes God takes you down. Sometimes God says, you know what? Maybe you need to do less. Maybe you actually need to do less because you need to learn how to let go. Maybe you need to learn how to de-stress, because maybe your nervous system had said fight, 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 fight for too long. And maybe, you know what? Maybe you need to release somehow and say, wait a minute, let my energy flow. Let the energy flow. Get unstuck. Feel those emotions, right? Sometimes you need to heal. And maybe this just be one season. Maybe this just be the season of a month or 2 or 3 or 5. I have no idea. I don't know. Like certain things have to be on faith. You got to feel your way through. But that doesn't mean that my wellness is like, for example, I trained, and now I just meal prepped. I already got it all done. Like, see, when you're in flow, when things are aligned, you won't have the scarcity of I don't have time or I can't do that or I don't have energy. It's like these puzzle pieces will flow together and you will still move the needle even though you may not have done what you wanted to do. I mean, if I want to be honest, I mean, I want to do a gazillion. I want to be the one that competes in a CrossFit competition, but I'm not there yet. Okay? I'm not there yet. Not there yet. Okay. So build something long term, not short term. Don't do those short, small sprints. They are going to exhaust you and you're not going to get anywhere. When you are having a scarcity mindset and it keeps you small, it's because you compare yourself constantly. See, I teach in Walk It Free how to become yourself, how to be you, how to be, and this is why it's so transformational. It's not just you being you for the sake of you selling more product for somebody, right? Yes, we need a business. Yes, we want to have money from them, but we also need to be building our life, our personal life, like who we are right now, what makes us happy, what makes us content, what brings us joy. Because in the end of our lives, we want to look back and say, we did it. We did everything. Like a friend of mine has just told me her mom just passed away in her sleep. That's a big wake-up call even for me again, of like, you just unexpectedly pass away in your sleep. You never know when your last day is going to be. You just never know. So you have to learn how to be grateful and how to live every single day as it were your last. Words of Ogmandino. Live every day as it was your last, were your last. How? How do you do that? You need to do that by being aligned with who you are at the core, figuring out what steps am I going to do, what's going to move the needle forward, and you need to learn how to have some joy. But you can't have joy if you're constantly comparing yourself and you're feeling like you don't have enough. If you're feeling like, this person knows more than I am, and this person like has better skin than I am, or this person has better social media. Well, where are you at right now? What would make it a 10 for you right now? Where you are right now? Like, see, you can align it. Like, of course, I want to look like the millionaire maker, right? I want to do all the things that they do. I want to be able, but can I? I don't know. What would make it great for me today? Right? I still have little kids. And I cannot do all the things. You may have your situation. What would make it great right now for you? Okay, you got to develop your own system. You can't just go and copy everybody else and then feeling less than and all that. You got to develop your own system. That's what Walk It Free is all about. You can not control everything. You can only control your very next action step. That's it. You can only control your very next action step. You cannot stay small forever. You gotta grow up at some point. You gotta grow up. I mean, I get it. There are some people that are deciding they don't want to grow up. They are getting older and older and older, and they just never become an adult. And it's unfortunately the truth. Did you know that? You only because you're becoming an adult, like age-wise, does not mean that you're actually mentally and emotionally grown up or mature. You have to take these steps to mature yourself. There are some kids that are much more mature than adults, which is crazy to me, but it's the truth, okay? So you got to learn how to grow yourself up, how to figure out what keeps you safe. Be an emotional master, not just in your mindset as to having your strategy and figuring out your identity and stuff, but also emotional trigger mastery. Like, what is going to hurt you? What is going to set you into a fight, flight, and freeze response? What is going to trigger your happy emotions? What is going to reset your energy levels? All of these things are so important to stay on your foundation, to be able to build a solid foundation from where you can then build your skills on. Okay, I hope this was helpful to you. If you resonated with any of this, let me know your takeaways in the comments. Send me a DM if you want to do it in private. I would love to hear your thoughts on all the things that I shared. Tag a friend that needs to hear that. Help me spread that word, okay? Because I want to reach the 80%, but that is so hard to do alone. So please help me share this out. Tag a friend who needs to hear that. Literally $27. Come on, friends, right? Let's make that happen for everybody.